Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Seftimor Daily. Doing it in the car again before work because, as I said before, the home is a little crazy right now, so a little hard to get these in when they need to be. But anyway, wanted to talk today about doing instead of just planning. There's a rule out there called the 595 rule. 5% of your actions should be planning, 95% of them should be doing. So many times you'll get to you'll have an idea or get something in your head and spend a lot of that time planning when you should be just acting on it. Because let's take everyone's favorite topic here, streaming. If you take time to do overlays and buttons and all this other stuff, you spend 95% of your time planning and 5% doing. You go live and you could either, if it's your first time, you'll sit there and say, oh, this isn't for me. What did I do all that planning for? Or you'll spend all your time and then you spent all that time wasted, instead of just going live and seeing how things work and seeing the ins and outs. Because a lot of my ideas, like my ideas to do like the Seftimor Daily, come from I started doing a podcast. I started doing a podcast 2 years ago. It was originally with my friend, and then it got into just being solo because me and him decided not to do that anymore. Just time wasn't lining up for us. But through doing it with him, through doing the podcast with him, it got me to be comfortable doing this solo. If you go to it's called the B Plus podcast. If you go back to the first episode, I was so scared, so nervous. I was telling him before we went live, because we did do it live, that I was just freaking out and I didn't want to do it. Then we just did a bunch of episodes and you get comfortable. But in the meantime, you see how things work, you see how things go, and you could start working on the things that you think it needs or the things that you think you could improve upon. You have to make sure that regardless of the quality, regardless of anything else, that you're constantly doing. When I got into streaming, before I met everybody, I didn't know anything about having lights go when people host me, or lights go when people donate or follow. I learned that through meeting people and networking, but the point of it is that I did it because I was actively in the mix of everything, networking. So I met people like Hidden, who I steal all my technical stuff from. Thanks, brother. But in all honesty, like I learned through people, and that was because I was actively doing. If I just networked and wasn't actually going live or wasn't actually producing content, there would be no reason for me to work on those things. And because I was working on those things, I knew how to work on those things because I was actively doing it and actively streaming, and I knew where I needed to go and what I needed to figure out. So many of my ideas between writing makes me better on, say, Twitter or Instagram. Podcasting makes me a better speaker, makes me a better streamer. To be able to do this alone is very tough and off the dome with no edits. It's hard. But I do it because I just feel that more confident every day that I get to talk. And when you're sitting here and you're talking to a camera and you don't know what is going to be said next, or you just have a vague idea of what you're going to talk about. You just get better. You get better at that, and then afterwards, when you turn the camera off and you post it, if you rewatch it or you just saw it in the middle, you'll have an idea. Spring in your head and say, hey, that wasn't right, this wasn't right, I got to work on that. Things that wouldn't have made an appearance unless you were actively doing it. Regardless of like right now, I'm doing this through my phone, which, doesn't have the best mic quality, but yesterday when I recorded it, I started looking into maybe getting like a USB-C microphone, an external microphone. I didn't find anything I really like, so we're going to deal with this for right now, but that came through from not being able to record this podcast in my house and doing it before work. And then I rewatched the video and I said, the audio is a little tinny. But it didn't stop me from doing it either. Every single time you put something out into the world, it's like getting a lottery ticket. Anything that you do could be that big moment and could be that big push forward you need in your content or in your life. So if you spend the time, if you look at even my stream, you'll see I put off a lot of like button things, and that's bad. I don't think this is good, but I'm just such in a different mindset that stream, just hit go live. If the time wasn't there to update buttons or update this or update my my profile in the bottom, my bio, things like that, if it wasn't, I'm doing the thing, I'll get to it when I get to it. What I'm trying to say is that regardless of what you're doing, and I know people say this all the time, but it's so true, you will learn 95% more from doing with shitty equipment or not the best audio or not the best video or not, just where all the stars don't align. You'll do that much better because you'll figure it out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It would mean the world to me if you could share this with somebody, get this podcast out, reachable to more people, and make sure to subscribe. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.